the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hello there, Ellies. This is Chinese Pod, and I'm Ken Carroll.
大家好，我是 Jenny。
Now we have some exasperation or some impatience. You could interpret it in either of those ways, I think. In today's lesson, somebody's waiting for someone.
And it's taking forever.
Or possibly that person is just being impatient. So we'll leave that interpretation up to you. This is, I think, a useful lesson because it's very high frequency language.
Yes.
And you'll hear a lot of patterns repeated. And also it touches on something which I think is really interesting. Not a problem we can solve by any means totally in today's lesson, but it's the question of how you bring intonation to Chinese. In other words, if you have the four tones, how do you do that?
Oh, can you actually do it?
Well, you can, that's for sure. But so let's listen to it, and then we'll come back and we'll look at it in a little bit more detail.
好主意。对话第一遍。
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀，
第二遍。
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀，
第三遍。
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀。
Well,
You definitely hear the exasperation.
you do. I think this could be in any one of many, many contexts. I guess one, I don't know. What do you think? What is the context here, Jenny? What do you think it could be?
I'm really resisting to go the husband and wife thing again, even though we had a woman and a man in the dialogue. But like you said, Ken, it could be you're waiting for food
Yes.
in a restaurant.
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
they always answer, 马上就好,马上就好, and
yes.
it doesn't come.
Yeah, so this language could work in any 1,000 situations where somebody's waiting for someone. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessarily husband and wife stuff. I think that's whatever. Too obvious.
We are better than that.
Yeah. All right. So let's translate it then.
好，可以走了吗？
Can we leave now?
可以走了吗？
Now can we leave?
可以走了吗？再等一会儿，
Wait a second.
再等一会儿，
Wait just a bit longer.
再等一会儿。好了吗？
Are you ready?
好了吗？
Are you done?
好了吗？马上就好，
I'll be ready in a second.
马上就好，
I'll be ready in a moment.
马上就好。哎，你好了吗？
Are you ready now?
哎，你好了吗？
Are you ready now?
哎，你好了吗？好了好了，很快就好。
All right. I'll be ready in a second.
好了好了，很快就好。
Okay. I'll be ready really soon.
好了好了，很快就好。哎呦，
Oh dear.
哎呦
There you go. Now, I think our actors did a good job on this, sort of building up the exasperation or the impatience, whatever way you want to interpret it. Now, the patterns are very, very useful, but there are some little tricky bits in here which we need to make clear.
Exactly.
Why don't we take it from the top?
可以走了吗？可以走了吗？
Now, what would your translation be of this sentence, Jenny?
Like what you did. Now can we leave? Implying that you've asked already.
Yes, yeah,
And
yes.
you're getting slightly concerned, let's
That's
say.
right. I agree. So 可以 meaning can we, is it
Yes.
possible? And so, of course, to go.
Yeah.
But this particle here,
了
yeah,
走了 that indicates a change of state.
okay, yeah.
So 走了 to have left.
Yes, yes.
So are we ready to be gone, actually?
That's right. So already there's an element of impatience in this
Yes.
sentence. Because if you were just saying to someone, let's go, you'd say,
走吧。
走吧.
对。
But this is saying 可以. It's like, can we go now?
走了吗？
Yeah, yeah. So there's so be careful if you just turn around to say if there's no real context and you just say
可以走了吗？
it will sound impatient, right? Yeah.
Slightly.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, if you say it nicely,
Okay. Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
come.
Yeah. Good. Now, her reply is
再等一会儿，再等一会儿，
now. Of course, wait a second is
等一会儿，等一会儿。
that's a nice chunk. The characters for 等一会儿 are
等 to wait.
yeah.
And 一会儿, or you might also hear 一会儿
Yes.
means a short time.
A short time. However, she emphasizes this by saying.
再等一会儿。
Now, this indicates that this conversation has been going on.
对。
Just wait another second,
Yes.
wait another minute, just
Yeah.
hang on another little bit kind of thing. Wow. Now, not long after that, he starts again.
好了吗？好了吗？
Now, again, this is as fairly simple. First of all, he's saying, can we go? Now he's saying, are you ready?
对，好了吗？ And now let's look at the reply.
Yeah.
马上就好。
Now, really interesting. First point on this 好了吗? This has a gazillion applications, actually. 好了吗 is very neutral in a sense. In one sense, it depends how you say it. But it's like, is it done? Are you ready? Can we get rolling?
Yes.
Now, and she's saying,
马上就好，马上就好。
now, 马上 literally meaning immediately.
对
就好 meaning I will be ready very,
Yes.
very soon.
，yes.
Tell us about this phrase because in my experience, Jenny, this is an open to interpretation. This phrase,
马上 is not very immediate.
it's not.
对
So I used to find that very confusing. You know, when somebody said 马上就好, I thought, okay, great.
You take it literally.
Take it literally. Oh, that's I'll be done in a matter of moments, but it could be a half an hour. It could be an hour
Exactly, or even longer.
or even longer.
Well, I think this is something, our attitude,
Yes.
which we can discuss later.
Okay, but it's a really interesting thing. All right, now he's getting so the pattern is he went from 好了吗 to the next pattern, which is
哎，你好了吗？哎，你好了吗？
so this like, are you ready?
Yes.
Right. He's showing his intemperance there again. Now, what answer does he get?
好了好了，很快就好。
Now she's kind of saying,
I'll be done. I'll be done really soon.
yeah, 好了好了, but she's not really 好了. Right?
对，interesting. 好了 actually means I am done. Right?
Oh, it literally, yes.
对。
If I heard that, I would say, 好了 means I'm done, I'm ready.
Yeah,
But
I'm
she's
ready
not.
to go.
Yeah,
She elaborates, 很快就好。
yeah. So, 很快就好 meaning, again, very quickly.
Yes.
Now, the language is not particularly challenging here. What I think are what we've talked about before, the pragmatics of the situation,
Yes.
what language means in context. And now, so she's going, I'm ready, I'll be ready in a second. If you did. That would be my interpretation
Yeah.
of it. But of course, you have to see these things in context. So why don't we listen 3 more times and then we'll just look at what these things actually really mean.
And intonation.
Yes.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chinese Pod Trivia. Our first question is, how long will it take you to become an intermediate Chinese speaker using the Chinese Pod app? Is it A, the rest of your life? B, you should already be an intermediate speaker? C, 3 months? Or D, Chinese Pod has an app?
You should already be in.
Ooh, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, 3 months. That's right. Head over to ChinesePod.com now to register for your access to over 4,000 lessons. Get the Chinese Pod app now on Google Play or the App Store.
对话第一遍，
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀，
第二遍，
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀，
第三遍，
可以走了吗？
再等一会儿，
好了吗？
马上就好。
你好了吗？
好了好了，很快就好。
哎呀，
When a few years ago, when I first heard the 马上就好, I thought it meant 马上. I thought it meant immediately. Why, Janny, are people likely to say immediately when they don't really mean it? What do you think?
I think Chinese culture, it's centered around harmony.
Yeah.
You might hear it with this, administration, but it's an ancient concept and virtual. So we want to keep peace,
Yeah.
maintain good relations with each other.
Yeah.
So even it means lying or let me just say exaggeration.
Or stretching.
But at this time of the moment, you
Yeah.
keep everyone, you make them happy.
Yeah. What you don't do is you don't get confrontational and say, shut up. You say, 马上就好.
Or you don't get confrontational by saying the truth.
Yes,
It would
yes.
take 1 hour.
Well, that's funny but the key here is that both speakers know what it means. And it's not saying, I'll be ready in 15 seconds.
Exactly.
It's a little bit looser. And the same, which is 很快就好, it's the same type of thing.
Yes.
Translated literally, it means immediately, and that's how I, as a Westerner, would interpret it. But in context, it doesn't necessarily mean that.
对。
Yeah.
It's a non-confrontational culture.
Indeed, that's right.
Well, you said something about intonation.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant point.
Well, if you look at this, you can see the guy's exasperation as it gets, as the dialogue progresses. Now, one of the difficult things that for a foreigner, I think, to learn in Chinese is how do you bring intonation to a tonal language, right? In other words,
exactly.
it's got the tones. Now, what a lot of people will do is they'll use their English intonation and plonk it down onto a Chinese sentence, you know? And it doesn't work. I mean, it's very confusing. So my suggestion is to try to don't avoid the intonation and certainly avoid English intonation and just concentrate on your tones, and over time you'll get better at it. But this is an example here of the way this guy is talking, of how
Yeah.
he expresses it. For example, he draws the sounds out.
对。
Could you give an example of when it's a shorter version and a drawn out sound of how he says it?
好了吗？好了吗？
Yeah. So the second one, he really drags it out. And
对。
so I think he's done a great job in the acting here. So that's a really interesting point. Maybe something we could come back to. But yeah, my suggestion is don't bring your English intonation to it. Be aware of that. But don't worry too much if you're not getting the nuance into it. It will come with practice.
It's such a great observation, and let's continue that on today's lesson comments.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll be back again, of course.
再见。
再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1118.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1118 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1118.